All right. Next up is my friend Jason Pantana, who is here with me live in Dallas. So Jimmy just gave you a whole series of tactics and strategies. Jason's now going to take you through 5 additional ways that you can generate more listings. Now, do not allow yourself to get overwhelmed. It's okay. I got your back. We're going to simplify at the very end of this, and we're going to pick the things that matter most to you. So we're looking right now just to collect all the ideas, and then we're going to synthesize it, chunk it down into what are your 3 goals for the first quarter, and what are the actions we're going to take. So with that said, ladies and gentlemen, Jason Pantana. Jason, take it away.
Thank you. It is good to be with everybody. Lots of folks are in, and Jimmy, that was an incredible session. I'm sure everybody's brains are already on fire right now with the possibilities of what would happen if you got serious about taking action on just 1 or 2 or 3 of these ideas. Ideas are easy. Execution is where all the money gets made. That being said, I have quite a few more ideas for you today to dial up your marketing, but not just any marketing. Today's conversation is about marketing that positions you to generate more listings. Some of the tactics and strategies we cover are going to be short, near-term opportunities. How can you elicit more listings in the near term? And some of it is about building your brand to position yourself for long-term harvest. How can you build and go deep in your local community to be that listing agent of choice? Hector, if you could throw the slides up on the screen and share that. And once again, to repeat everything that's already been told to you, you will get all these slides. Some of the slides I'm sharing with you today are hyperlinked, meaning there are buttons that say click. And if you click it, it will take you to a video of me walking you through exactly step by step how to execute on the specific tactic being discussed. We're going to go through all 5. I want your mindset to be looking for the 1 or 2 that are the most relevant for you and your business and what you're looking to develop in terms of more listings in the first quarter, front loading the year, and pushing into 2024 strong for a record-setting year. My name is Jason Pantana. If we're not connected on social media, I would love to be a resource for you there. Shoot me a DM, connect with me. Let me know what's on your mind. I've been a coach with Tom for the past 7 years. I just love the work we get to do. And I love the people with whom we get to work. And that's every one of you. And I'm excited to be sharing these ideas because they're not necessarily my ideas. They're ideas that have come out of this coaching ecosystem of roughly 10,000 coaching members who are the best and the brightest in the business. Everybody's striving to be a better listing agent, a better team leader, a better sales professional, better on every front of their lives and careers. And so I'm happy to be synthesizing a lot of the strategies that work today. If you have a question or an idea or a challenge, shoot me a note on Instagram. I want to be a resource for you there. All right. We're going to talk about 5 different listing marketing. This is kind of a tongue twister, listing marketing approaches for the first quarter and into 2024. We'll talk about listing videos first. Then we're going to hit Google reviews, something I call email alchemy, market mic drops, and then last, seller streaming. And I did save what I believe is the one you should definitely consider for last. First things first, let's talk about listing videos. And I want to talk about listing videos in a slightly different light. Everybody knows you got to make listing videos, but I want to talk about why you should be making listing videos, why you should be leveraging property videos on Instagram, on TikTok, on LinkedIn, on YouTube, on Facebook, on every major specific platform. I'm not talking about any one platform per se. I'm talking about leveraging the media of the day. And the media of this day and age is not radio, is not newspapers, it is social media, powered and fueled by video. And if you're not leveraging video yet, it needs to be a part of your marketing mix. And I say the word needs on purpose. There was a quote in 1000 Watts' most recent insider report, and I'm going to read what's on the screen in front of me. It says, sellers cite social media promotion as the listing agent's most valuable tactic, ahead of both Zillow and the MLS. Now, I didn't say that. Listing agents didn't say that. Sellers who were surveyed by 1000 Watt, who performs credible research, said that. And they didn't just say that a little bit. What the report revealed is that it was by a wide margin. What that means to you is sellers look to you with great expectation of how are you going to market and sell my property? And more specifically, they're looking at your social media marketing and how do you expose their property on social as a defining characteristic of the listing agent they want to hire. So my question for you is, 1, at the listing appointment, how clear are you with every prospective seller about what you're going to do in terms of leveraging the media of the day to expose their property to the largest pool of ready, willing, and able buyers? to mobilize the local real estate community and to cause their home to sell. How are you going to frame that at the listing appointment? And then from there, second, I would also ask the question, what are the videos you're going to make? And what's going to be your game plan on leveraging these videos? I want to play this video, and you should be able to hear the audio when I play it as a sense of inspiration about what level of creative lengths did Roland here, one of our rockstar clients, go to in order to generate better exposure for his seller. And imagine if you're a homeowner or somebody who knows that property, you live in the area perhaps, or you know Roland as an agent, and you see the level of effort he put in, and we know that the seller values this. Think about how you might react to a video just like this. I'll let it play.
Meet Roland, a man whose life seemed to be working against him. Things always felt askew for Roland, like he was missing something. That was until he stumbled upon 224 North Grant Street in San Mateo, California. For the first time in Roland's life, everything felt right. It was like finding the missing puzzle piece he'd been searching for. The brand new flooring throughout, walls so smooth you'd think they were buttered, a kitchen with soft close cabinets, pristine bathrooms, and the best part, less than a mile to downtown San Mateo. Roland could picture the life he wanted in this home, or rather, the life he needed. So, Roland did what any sensible person would do. He contacted the real estate agent that very day. And the rest? Well, the rest is history. Let Roland's story be a testament to you all. When opportunity knocks and it feels right, seize it.
How good is that video from Roland? And I see the chat. You guys give Roland some love, clap it up, give some hearts and likes and thumbs up in the chat for Roland. A lot of you were asking about the voice. Yes, it was AI that generated the voice. And it's about leveraging the tools that are in front of you right now. Boys, pop me back up on the screen if you would so we can talk. Perfect. Here's the note I want you to keep in mind. Every sale has a story. Every seller has an expectation that you're going to leverage the media of the day to expose their property to the right audience of buyers and to put it in its optimal light. The question is, what's your game plan for that? How are you leveraging? I know Jimmy talked about leveraging the listing as well, and it's going to be a key theme of the day, but specifically, how are you leveraging the listing through the lens of the camera, of the video? Every sale has a story. And when we talk about listing videos, I want to shift gears a bit. I don't only mean listing videos. What if you don't have a listing? Well, you can still get property tours and do property videos in that respect, or you can do what Shannon Gillette does and how she talks about her value proposition to sellers. I'm going to play one more for you here today. This is Shannon Gillette, who crushes it outside of Phoenix in Arizona. And you see the note on the screen, it says hidden calls to action, hidden CTAs. And I want you to think through the lens of what the average person is doing on, for example, Instagram, on Facebook, on TikTok. They are scrolling. And so sometimes you see a video on Instagram and it's like, hey, you like this house? You want to buy this house? Call me at 555-5555. And I'm not here to dog that necessarily, but I am here to ask a question. Is it likely that the person is going to do that who's watching your video? And the chances are on Instagram, no, because they're scrolling. They are in a modality, a behavior of scrolling. And so the better question is, how should I speak to this audience to invite them into action in the most likely of ways they're going to actually fulfill upon? And so what Shannon does is, it is brilliant. It is subtle, but it fits perfectly into the mold of her Instagram. And we call it hidden calls to action. And I want to see if you can hear the call to action in this video. This is Shannon Gillette just sitting in her car after an appointment, a very casual and brilliant video. Let's see if you can pick up on her language. Here we go.
Today I learned that a seller I recently met with decided not to hire our team to sell their home. And I think I know why. I will always deliver you an honest, accurate analysis of your home's value. I will never tell you that your home is worth more than it is just to get your listing. The data is the data. It's available for everyone to see, and your home is worth what similar homes like yours have recently sold and closed for. You can't make up this price. It's the data, it's there. And I looked up their listing and it is listed significantly higher than my analysis. I hope it sells for that price. It'll break many records. I hope it does. But I was scrolling through the pictures. I noticed there's no video, there's no Twilight, there's no drone. And it breaks my heart because I know that we could have provided more exposure.
So for those who are listening to that and picked up on the subtle brilliance of it, it was so spot on. One, I want to commend Shannon for her integrity and how she conducts business. Two, she's a genius with this video. I heard so many subtle hidden offers. One, she made me aware of the fact that she was at a listing appointment with the prospective seller. Okay, so she lists properties. Check, got it. She talked about she performs a comparative market analysis. I understand that she can give me an evaluation on what my respective home might be. And then she starts talking about what the listing didn't have. She's effectively delivering a listing presentation to anybody who's watching, only they don't know it. They're just casually watching the video. But for anybody who finds themselves in market to want to list sell their home, or maybe their mother-in-law's property is sitting because some agent took an overpriced listing and they're not doing an effective job positioning the property to win in today's marketplace, maybe they might see this video and say, hey, they share it with that person and say, you might want to talk to somebody like this. Your videos can go in and do work you can't do on your own because you don't know the context of who's watching them. So my encouragement to you is make videos, talk about your value proposition, but talk about it through the lens of what does the consumer need to know? What matters to the consumer? Oftentimes, I should say, calls to action are focused on what we want you to do. Here's what I want you to do. But they're not necessarily focused on what the consumer wants to know, what the consumer wants to do. And what Shannon's done has hit the bullseye in terms of being able to speak to the pain points and the needs of the consumer, leveraging the media of the day, which is video. And bear in mind, you get what your content attracts. A lot of folks make content about, their hobbies or about their listings or about buyers. Pick the path you're on, because the content you create attracts the audience who views it, and you get what your content attracts. If you make videos for sellers, then you're going to get sellers. That's the basic promise of how the algorithms work today. And so my encouragement to you is, if you're going to leverage videos and you want to build your brand on social and you want to generate listings, to find the content that will appeal to sellers and find them in your marketplace and make you a listing machine magnet in your area. All right, let's keep on moving. Number 2 is Google reviews. This one's going to be relatively quick. You are going to get all my slides. Everything's going to be included that's in my presentation for you to be able to review later, because this is all about R&D. This ecosystem of coaching members is all about R&D, rip off and duplicate. It's 10,000 strong rock star agents committed to being the best in the business, willingly sharing what they do that works. And in receipt of that, they're getting even more ideas from the entire network. It's the power of the network. Number 2 is Google reviews. This is Tammy Price, one of our rockstar coaching clients down in San Antonio, and she crushes it with her Google business profile by getting seller testimonials, by focusing on seller reviews. And we could talk ad nauseum about Google business profiles, but suffice it to say this. They're awesome. In the past 12 months, Tammy's picked up an extra 22 sides, an extra 22 sales off of just this profile. There is relatively little work involved to what I'm going to share with you today, other than the efforts of getting the reviews. But I want you to imagine what it would be like to position yourself on the internet where sellers who are looking for an agent, who don't have an agent, maybe they're new to the area, or they didn't like the agent who sold the house, or the buyer's agent potentially lost contact with them. I want you to imagine them Googling and finding you and reading reviews from other sellers who rave about what it was like to work with you, who talk about your standards and your excellence, and then call you. Because that's what's happening with Tammy. She's getting 22 extra deals a year, for all intents and purposes, passively, because of her Google business profile. And it's about the reviews. Question for you is this: what do sellers search on Google? We all know that Google is the dominant search engine. More searches happen on Google than anywhere else by a landslide. But this may interest you to know that of all the searches that happen on Google every single day, and I'll give you the number in case you want to know, there's about 8.5 billion Google searches every day. People search for all kinds of randomness. But of all those 8.5 billion Google searches, almost half of those Google searches are in fact looking for something local. And usually, and this is what I want you to hear, usually they're looking for a local business. What I mean to say is, it is almost more common that a person using Google searches for a local business than anything else they may ever Google. That to me is a tremendous opportunity for you to position your brand to be found, to be discovered. So here's the question. What do sellers search? Well, maybe we answer it by saying, what do buyers search? Well, buyers look for houses. That is their characteristic behavior on Google. So what do sellers search for? Well, let's be fair. Sellers also search for houses because we know that a third to half of all sellers are buyers. So that's expected. Okay, fine. What else do they search for? Well, they do search for what their home is worth. That's true too. But the point I want to stress is that it is far more consistent with a seller to search for the best realtor in Milwaukee, the best realtor in San Antonio, in your marketplace, than it is a buyer, unless it's a relocation buyer. This is a way to position yourself to get found by sellers. So when it comes to getting reviews, whose reviews matter most? I'll take any review I can get, right? But if you're not putting a heavy emphasis this year on getting seller reviews, then you need to make it a focus. You need to make it a focus on when do you ask for the review? The answer is whenever something good happens. Unlike platforms like Zillow, where Zillow requires a closed transaction to be attached to every respective review, Google doesn't require that. It doesn't mean it's easy. I'm not going to try to sell you a magic bullet here, but if you put the work in, you're going to get the result. Action solves all the problems, right? Just like what Jimmy and Tom were saying. And so what's your action plan this year in 2024 to put a heavy focus on getting as many seller testimonials on your Google business profile as possible? Because get it, reviews equal rankings. Look here at this search. The search says best realtor in Huntington Beach, California. There's my client, Sack and Stone team. They dominate in what's called the map pack. This Google map pack is what shows when somebody does a search like what you see before you, best realtor in a specific area, top real estate agent here or there. It shows the top 3 business listings. And ranking here is where the money's made. And that's really a product of more than anything else, getting the right reviews with the right keywords. I want you to see that snippet. It says he is the best realtor in Huntington Beach, and it emboldens the phrase best realtor. Why? Well, because they searched best realtor. Now, when you respond to your Google reviews, I see the comment there, Janice, your replies aren't being measured for SEO weight like the actual text in the reviews itself. Google does not look for keywords in the replies from the owner. It does look to see that, yes, they replied, they're a good and faithful citizen of Google. It does not dig out the keywords. It finds the keywords in the reviews from your customers. So here's what you should be thinking about right now, okay? What are the most important keywords? Well, that depends on what customers are searching to find your business in your local marketplace. So my thinking is you should do some tests. You should do some searches like best realtor in your area, top real estate agents near me, and find out what are those terms that rank, and then look for the snippets of the top ranking profiles, and then get to work on talking to your customers by asking, hey, when you leave the review, it would mean a ton if you could please include a few of these choice keywords if they fit naturally in your review, because Google is, after all, a search engine. Google is a dominant way to get found by more sellers. All right, moving on. Number 3, I'm pretty pumped about this one. This one we call email alchemy. The idea is to turn your list into listings. If you don't know what alchemy is, I would remind you to go back to grade school. It's the idea of trying to make gold out of something that isn't gold. So what am I getting at here? I'm playing it in metaphor, of course. We're going to turn your list. Who's your list? Your database. All the people who are on your email list. It could be people who've opted into your newsletter. It may be leads you've generated over the course of your career. It's past clients. It's sphere of influence. It's all your leads and contacts who have opted in to your list. We're going to turn your list into listings. It's exactly what one of our coaching rock stars, Matt Curtis, has done. Before I get to the case study, I want to remind you that 65% of sellers found their agent by way of repeat or referral business. 2/3 of all sellers, and this is NAR data, Riz Media did a study recently that was in the 80th percentile. So I think we can all agree that a huge majority of your prospective sellers are inside of your database. Why? The answer is quite simple. Real estate is a relationship business. It's a know you, like you, trust you business. And if you don't have trust with the consumer, if they don't know you, if they don't like you and like who and mesh with you, you're out of sync with them, and they're going to find somebody else to sell their property who's better aligned with them. So if you're neglecting your database, this is a strategy to really look at and say, how can I re-enliven my database? Now, I want to be clear for a moment. When I say database today in this conversation, I mean all your leads, all your contacts, your entire list. Turn the list into listings, just like what Matt Curtis has done, because your database is probably your best source of listings. All right, let's get into the case study on Matt Curtis, and then we're going to keep on moving forward, and I am watching the clock. Okay, first things first. He has 53,000 people on his email list, and we're looking at the last 6 months of data. So keep it in mind, last 6 months, 53,000 people. You're like, that's a lot of people. Well, it is and it isn't. I mean, he's the number one agent in the state of Alabama, and he's been generating leads for years and years and years. Google leads, Facebook leads, Realtor.com leads, etc. He has leads who've opted in, and you're like, well, wait a minute, Jason. I thought we were talking about getting listings. I am. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Well, but a lot of those leads were likely buyer inquiries. But a third to half of them had a home to sell. And what's more, the average person lives about a decade in a property. And as you nurture and continue your relationship with your leads and contacts over time, guess what? New needs, new desires to buy, sell, invest start to emerge. And so the idea of, I'm just going to say it quite bluntly, the idea of buying leads and then trying to convert them that first time and then giving up if you didn't convert them the first go around, to me is a waste of money, because people's needs will come and go, ebb and flow. And what's your game plan to be mining the opportunities, turning the list into listings for the long term? That's what Matt does. Okay, so 53,000 contacts and leads in his email list. It's a lot. It's a lot. By the way, this strategy is elastic. You might have 1,000 or 500 or 5,000. It's elastic. It will work for you if you do the work. Number two, he's had 12,000 unique clicks on his emails. People have tapped links or calls to action or hit a photo or a video in his newsletters. I'll show you the newsletter in just a little bit here. That's a pretty good click-through performance. Number three, his opt-out rate or his unsubscribes is 0.3%, which is remarkable. Now, he's sending an email every week. He's sending emails all the time. In fact, he actually sends 2 emails a week. And people are not opting out. Why? Because they're value packed. If you lead with value and it isn't canned, you shouldn't be worried about people leaving. Nobody leaves when it's a good time. They leave when they don't want what you're offering anymore. So bear that in mind. Number 4 is he's generated in the last 6 months 45 directly attributable listing leads based upon his newsletters. Now, consider the fact that these are old contacts, old leads, resurrecting and having new life because he's putting the right call to action at the right time while maintaining the right relationship. Let's talk about the newsletters he sends. All right, what you see before you is the first half. I couldn't fit the whole thing on the screens because we're doing a widescreen presentation. And it's a beautiful design. Every week, it's always the same. Something I've noticed a lot in your newsletters lately is there's too much. If you put too much content in your newsletter, nobody's going to make it to the bottom of that newsletter. You're wasting your content. Matt, I would say, has improved his to where it's just right. There's a beautiful headline, and then you see a featured video out of the gate. He is starting with a gift. He is giving, giving, giving. And then next, it moves into an actual call to action. We call this a nested call to action, and it's a home valuation offer. He will rotate these offers throughout the year. Sometimes it might be setting up a home search, which is more buyer focused. Sometimes it's downloading a PDF guide or registering for a home seller seminar he's offering, but usually it's a home valuation. And this is what folks are responding to when they become his leads in the marketplace. If you scroll down, he features listings from sellers. They love that. And then there's more CTAs, which you can look at yourself. These crush it. Folks are clicking them all the time. So take a look at this email when you get the slides and then say, what's my newsletter look like? How am I going to leverage my list to get more listings in 2024? All right, let's go quick through the last 2. I really want to hit the last one super strong. This one is market mic drops. There's no case to be made. There's a complete case to be made that you need to be the knowledge broker if sellers are going to hire you. The absolute knowledge broker. You hear Tom talk about it all the time. Sellers want to work with the agent who is the most competent and capable of getting the job done. So how well is your marketing positioning you to be the knowledge broker? 1000 Watt did some research recently, and they talked about some snippets that really vocalized sellers' point of view. What do sellers really think about? What do sellers really value in the listing agent they hire? And a lot of times, and this is where it gets tricky, when you're a listing agent, you're going in and the seller thinks what they want is marketing. We already talked about that. But if you read the reviews from your past sellers, you'll start to realize wow, it was the communication, it was the professionalism, it was the full package. And so understanding the needs of the seller can prime you to have a better conversion rate when you go on your appointments. First trait they listed was they gave me optimism and options for selling. Then there's another one that says they pointed out the true potential of a sale and they gave me a lot to think about, more options. They were a knowledge broker. So how can you be a more effective, a more in tune knowledge broker? I want you to consider it like this. How do you show up at every listing appointment? And not just listing appointment, every meeting with every homeowner or anybody who's ever thought twice about selling their property and blow their minds. Because if you can blow their minds, you're going to create a dependence on, wow, I need this agent. They're a thought leader. I need them. Nobody else knows as much as they know, and nobody else has as much skill as they have. How do you position yourself to get that? And that's where I say to you, ChatGPT OMG is leveraging tools like AI to elicit insights that maybe you've overlooked before. But if you knew these insights and if you shared these insights with prospective sellers, they would immediately attach themselves to you to say, you're the best in the business. All right. I don't know if you knew this, but I'm going to tell you now. With ChatGPT, most of you might think that it's just about a text chatbot. I text this and it texts back, and I text this and it texts back, and it's called prompting. But in fact, ChatGPT can do a lot more than that. You can upload documents. You can upload spreadsheets. You can upload images and videos and PDFs, and you can have it edit those things, analyze those things. You can convert a JPEG into a PNG. You can have it export data sets. You can have it create, hey, make a spreadsheet based upon this analysis, and it can do it. And it can do it not just with one, but I can upload multiple variations, like a document and a spreadsheet, and find relationships between them. So here's what I want you to consider testing. And this is a test, and you're gonna have to do the work on this one. I want you to go to your MLS. Most MLSs allow you to export the data. And I want you to go to your market, and I want you to grab every sale that's happened over the past 6 months or 12 months. This is a screenshot of my MLS. I live in Nashville, Tennessee. And I want you to export all that data to a spreadsheet. Now, I'm saying this trusting that you know how to use your MLS. I don't know what your MLS is, but I know this. Every MLS has the ability that I've ever seen to export the listings to a spreadsheet. And then I want you to go into your ChatGPT, and I want you to click the paper clip in the lower left, and I want you to upload all the data. Don't worry about organizing it. The AI will figure that out. Don't worry about anything. Just upload whatever spreadsheet your MLS gives you right there. And then start asking questions. Ask it about pricing trends. Ask it for what I call market factoids. Literally the prompt I would write is I would say, hey, you see all this data? I'm going on a listing appointment for a home that's got 3 beds and 2 baths, blah, 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 just like this. And I want to blow the seller's mind and impress them with my market insight. Give me 3 observations that will make their jaws drop. That would be my prompt. And you watch how Dig It Deeps in and gives you market factoids that will make you look like a flippant genius at your listing appointment. Talk about absorption rates, have it run comps. It can help you with CMAs. I've actually tested this. Find the most relevant comps based upon your listing, and it's really good at finding them. It's really good at finding them. Have it run competitor analysis. Who are the top listing agents? Who's actually the ones, who are the selling agents, the sales agents on the buy side? Who are the top offices? Have it do a buyer persona based upon what it understands about demographic data of the area and all kinds of other stuff, so long as we don't overstep fair housing, and understand who the buyer is, so that when you show up to your listing appointment, you're like, hey, the buyer of your property is probably boom, 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 boom. And you're able to go through an entire persona, and literally you watch and wait, and the seller's mouths will go, we need to hire you. You're the best listing agent. Be the knowledge broker. What are you going to do to make yourself the knowledge broker? I got one more for you, and then I'm out of here. Seller streaming. This campaign is killing it. And this is the one I would say to you is an absolute must in your marketing. It's going to take some work, but you've got this. You're prepared to work, and you know that action solves all of life's problems, all of your business's problems for darn sure. You're familiar, I'm sure, with these types of ads. They are called in-stream ads. On YouTube, you go to watch a specific video on YouTube, an ad starts to play before that video, and the clock starts counting in your brain, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, skip ad. You see these ads all the time. What you maybe didn't know is that these are technically Google ads. Google owns YouTube. These ads are deployed from Google Ads, and you have the ability to leverage Google Ads targeting. Did you know on Google Ads, you can target your geographic area, Because you may be thinking, I don't want people who sell houses, 1,000 miles away to see my ads. That's not a concern. You can target your geographic area. What's more, Google keeps really detailed audiences. I'm going to name a few just for your consideration. One, Google has an audience that they call real estate agents. And if you read the fine print, it's not actually an audience of real estate agents. What it is are people who search things like this: best realtor in city, top real estate agent, top real estate broker, find real estate agent. It gives you a chronicle of all the different searches they're running on Google, and it's organized an audience of those people in your area. Now, what do we say that sellers search for? Sellers search for agents. We should target that audience. There's another audience called homeowners. You could target people who own homes in your geographic farm with YouTube ads, which is exactly what Shane Bergman does with the video I'm about to show you. Now, I'm going to spoiler alert this. This video is generating 1 to 2 listings every month for him in his geo farm like clockwork, and it's flipping awesome. As you watch the video, I want you to listen to his language. His call to action at the end is brilliant, because consider that it's YouTube. When was the last time you clicked a link in a YouTube ad? It's not about getting clicks. It's about getting mind share. I want to position you in the hearts and minds of prospective sellers in your area. And when they're ready, they'll call you, just like they call Shane. Here is Shane's video. Here we go.
Vieira Homeowners, if you're thinking about selling, here's how our team operates. This is one of our team's newest listings in Tresona Cove. Step 1 was to strategize. We discussed pricing, timelines, and our team's marketing plan. Step 2, we sent in a professional cleaning crew and had all of the carpets deep cleaned. Smells new. Step 3, staged the home. Our team works exclusively with designers to get your home show ready. And in the event it's vacant, we can bring in furniture, like this. We don't even know who owns this. Step 4, professional photos, videos, and 3D tours on all listings, no exceptions. And step 5, host a mega open house, AKA launch party. We go all out with food, drinks, and we make it a splash. A well-planned open house will capitalize on exposure and is the most effective way to show a property. Our team loves to host open houses. Go check out one of our team's listings. You'll see the difference.
I love that CTA. Go check out one of our team's listings. You'll see the difference. That is a seller-centric CTA. It's about what they want to do, what do they want to know, and they want to work with the best. And Shane is positioning his business to be the best. This one's getting R&D'd like crazy. I've got all my clients personally working on this video, and they're testing it and running it in their markets. And just like Vicky said, it's meant. Now, here's what we know. We know, by the way, there's a little click resource for you there. We can talk about that later. We know that the market belongs to those who market. Today was just the beginning of that. Only 5. There's a whole bunch more. Only 5 different tactics that can position you to get more listings. Now, if you're somebody who says, I think I need some help in terms of where to start and how to execute this, Tom has exactly the word for you. I'm going to throw the mic back to Mr. Tom Ferry. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much. Guys, got my microphone working. Okay. I think the word of the day between you and Jimmy is overwhelm. I'm just curious, in the comments very quickly, how many of you so far are thinking to yourself, you have a lot of ideas so far? Just want to see it in the comments. Like, do you have a lot of, look at the wow, a lot, yes, oh my goodness, yes. And by the way, I just literally was texting with Jimmy saying, thank you so much. And Jason, same thing. Like, you delivered so much value. So you can see people overwhelmed. All right. So I want to have a little conversation with you guys. You can grab your seat, and thank you so much. And hopefully you'll make your flight.